Lens. I'm your host, Wild Will. And today we're going to be talking about a very interesting story. One that involves a lot of perspective and understanding. One that so many people seem to have a hard time with, which is the ability to see when one has done the exact thing that they are telling other people not to do. I feel like it's been so often where people are just like telling either me or people I know to like do certain things, live a certain way, right? Move out, get a particular job, date or stop dating a particular person or behaving a specific way. And I mean, usually it takes a little bit of time, but just recently, what I've seen was like it was almost instant of like, oh, like you need to start telling, the truth, and it's like this person is also not sharing their secrets or whatever. Like they made a clear point of like they were like no secrets within this group, and it's like you are keeping secrets, and you're also like, you know, just not dealing with the facts of reality, right? Like it, which it seems to be common, right? Like there's a lot of justifications you can make for people in your life, especially when you care about them, and many people choose to overlook objective, um, you know, not to like be that person, but facts and reasoning or whatever, but just objective reality as a whole. And it's like, you are allowing your emotions to get the better of you. You are allowing this perceived loyalty or, you know, just who even knows what it is, right? Like for so many people, it could be so many different things, but it ultimately boils down to like, what are you doing for yourself in order to make sure that you are not condemning people around you, right? Like if you are going around condemning people and are like trying to make them be or act a certain way, right, by just not allowing people to do things for themselves, kind of just like butting yourself into a situation, or like, protecting those who do not like deserve to be protected. uh, it's such a so common, um right, and it's like, we have to be careful, like where, we can tell all these people like, hey, don't do these certain things and don't be this certain way, and like, kind of carry around a righteous sword or whatever, and then, within minutes, within days, we're just out there perpetrating the same things. Something small, something big, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter, but it's like it happens over and over again, and it just goes to show that it's like you shouldn't be like out there just telling people what to do, because it's like, just you're probably projecting a lot of your own bad habits and insecurities and aren't even realizing it. So it's kind of just like, oh man, like if you just look in the mirror for like a little bit first and like maybe slow down and either communicate with those around you or communicate with yourself a little bit better, you would find that these are like pretty big, like factors in friendships and relationships, and professional and personal. um, and it just sucks to see that so many people all the time like are allowing people to use them uh, for whatever reason, like you can just, right, get so stuck within your own head, your own reality, believing that people are what they are not just because they look or act or treat you a certain way. And it's like, you gotta get your head out of the clouds and make sure that, these people aren't using you, right? Like there are going to be people within your life who you just have this strong attraction towards or this strong affinity towards, and they might not share that, but they might make it seem like they do, like it just seems so common that there's so much love bombing happening, and so many people I see around me are settling for these subpar relationships with people who don't actually care about them and like are not willing to just end it, because for them, you know, the lie that we probably all are guilty of telling ourselves is that, you don't want to live the rest of your life alone. You don't want to end your life that way. So, more often than not, people are just content to like stick with somebody subpar just because of some level of familiarity that they have with them. So it's just like at this point for me, it feels like I'm screaming in these people's faces of like, like wake up. Like, why are you allowing people in your life who are not the best for you, right? Why are you choosing to have people stick around that every time they're around, they make you feel worse? And every time that, like, I hear you talk about them, it's always something negative, Like, every time you call me up, it should be something positive that you have to say about the people in your life. And if it's not, maybe you should start looking for new friends, Like, maybe they're not your friends. Maybe they just like the idea of having somebody that they can, waste their time, waste their resources, disrespect, act like, that you are their servant, like that you owe them something, right? Just using your kindness and your patience as like a disadvantage to you. Like, it's unfortunate, right? Like there are good people out there for sure, and there are bad people, and the good people often do not even see it until like it's too late, or until like these quote unquote bad people are, and let me just say it, there's no such thing as like a good or a bad person as well, right? It's like depending on the circumstances that you meet any particular person under, on any given day, that person could just be completely different, right? They could have just come from like a horrific scene like right before they were talking to you, and could just be a completely different person if you had met them any other day. So, it's hard to remember that. It's hard to remember like keeping the other person's perspective in mind as well. Like, what do they want? Like, how can you really like look at these other people? And if you are looking at them and you're finding everything is just very selfish and they're not really like contributing anything to the broader community and to help out, and they're just expecting shit stuff, then uh it's something you should probably uh, drop, right? Like, get rid of it. Like, you don't need it. Like, that's very clearly somebody who is very egotistical, very narcissistic, is okay with hurting other people, and probably doesn't even think about it in the process. So even if you're like alone for a while, like just getting these people out of your life is like the first step to like getting yourself out of like such a negative area. Like, you gotta escape from that. Like, these people are, right, they're like crabs in a bucket, and every time you try to climb out, they're gonna pull you back down. Right? Nothing else that needs to stop them. They're just jealous. They just don't want you to escape. And you totally could, right? The lid is wide open, But and if everybody did, right? If everybody worked together and everybody saw that the brighter way was out, then it would just be easy and everyone could escape. And yet they don't. They choose to live in fear, live in famine, live in pestilence, and just choose to be negative overall. And it hurts to see people settling like that. You know, like if you want to be great, you gotta find great friends, right? You gotta just be around the right people. And hopefully you are all out there finding the right people for you. You know, not everybody's always a good fit at any particular time, and outgrowing people is common, right? You can't be scared of change. You should embrace it and be happy that you are afforded the opportunity to find people who fit you better and find people who are going to bring you up and not just keep holding you down and hurting you just because they can, right? And having you justify their actions the entire time. Just something to think about. This has been A New Lens. I'm Wild Will. Please subscribe and check out my other content. I'll see you next week.